Ma'ushar. Here we go. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom.
It's not a bush.
Shalom, shalom.
The tree of life.
Shalom, shalom. Here we go. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom.
It is a tree.
Shalom, shalom.
It's not a bush.
Shalom, shalom.
The tree of life.
Shalom. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya ya la la, ya la 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 Changing the cable to open. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. And that repeats. Join with us. We go. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu bemitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey. Here we go. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Let us soak it up, let us all sink in. Sweet words of Torah, let us soak it up, let it all sink in. Sweet words of Torah. Pick apart. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. One more time. Sweet as honey. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Try that with us. Here we go. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Repeat after me. It goes like this. How good it is.
How good it is,
How sweet it is.
how sweet it is
To be together on this day. How good it is.
how good it is,
How sweet it is.
how sweet it is
To be together on this day. Here we go. Sing with us. Hine
sweet it is
to be together on this day. Last time hine mato, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Wherever you are, we say Shabbat Shalom, and also Hag Sameach Simchat Torah. Tonight, we are also celebrating our Simchat Torah holiday. Friends, your service is pinned to your Facebook page, and it has been sent out to the congregation as a PDF, so you can follow along either way or just join in as you are able to. Most of what we're going to be doing, singing, praying tonight, is going to be exceedingly familiar, and that's on purpose. We want you to not just watch like a television program, but participate. This is your service. It's your service. It's our service together. It is so good to be together on this day. Friends, Cantor Lorna Desnick, Rabbi Max Miller, Rabbi Rachel Klein Miller, Rabbi Spike Anderson. On the other side of the camera, Mark Feinberg. Behind the computers, making it all happen, our executive director, Stephen Blick. We would love for you to give a shout out saying Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sameach to everybody on your Facebook page, or if you're on YouTube or whatever it is. Let us know you're here however you can. And while we're doing that, let's talk about for a second what we're doing here today. As we're also doing that, Mazel Tov to the Nelson family on their B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow, and the First family on their Bat Mitzvah tomorrow. Lots of action here at Temple Emanu-El, and that's exactly the way we like it. So, aside from being Shabbat, it is Friday night, we also are celebrating Simchat Torah, this idea of joy in being who we are, the Jewish people, even at this particular time, maybe even especially at this particular time. Normally on Simchat Torah, things look very different, and if you've been here with us for Simchat Torah, you know what I'm talking about. We would have lots of little kids up here doing their consecration. We would give them little Torahs. We give them high fives. We would be unrolling one of the Torah scrolls so that all around the sanctuary we are surrounded by Torah and surrounding Torah. We would be, led by our cantor, walking through and pointing out different passages, chanting different passages in our story, in our Jewish story of Torah, and to the tune of klezmer music, dancing with the Torahs at the end. This year, we're not going to be doing that. This year is different. And once we sort of get a grip on that it is going to be different, we can in turn take what is meant to happen during Simchat Torah, which is feel joy because of an intense sense of gratitude that we have, that we're here, that we're part of this amazing Jewish tradition, the Jewish civilization, that we have this amazing book that we call Torah, this teaching, this center path, the way of truth, that we have access to it, and that we are empowered to take the world from where it is to where it needs to be through our thoughts, our deeds, our relationships, and our actions. That is worthwhile. That is worth celebrating, which we are going to do. That is worth elevating the emotion of joy, which hopefully we're going to do. And that is worth coming together. So friends, let's hear some music. Let's feel some prayer. Follow along, participate. Let's do this together. Hine matov.
Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Now we begin to center ourselves, quiet your surroundings. If there are people or noises in your surroundings distracting you, please ask them to shush or go to another room. Focus in on us together with Jews all across our great city. We're going to take a nice deep Shabbat breath. Here we go, in and out. The next breath is connecting us to Jews all across this great country. Deep breath in and out. And our third breath on this Shabbat connects us to Jews all across the world, celebrating Shabbat and Simchat Torah. Deep breath in together and out. Okay. If you have Shabbat candles ready to be lit, would you please get them out? Likely your Shabbat candle sticks are in Shabbat candle holders that have a story, that have a connection. Were they gifted to you? Did you buy them in a particular place, space, era? You are creating memories with the people around you every time you light those Shabbat candles. So, together with our cantor, we are creating the memories of lighting the Shabbat candles on the Shabbat and Yom Tov. Page 120, page 120, page 2 in our daf. Please rise.
We've got the air conditioner going. There we go. May we bring all this amazing light, the warmth, and especially the joy and the gratitude we feel on this Shabbat in Simchat Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Amen.
Friends, we continue by welcoming the Sabbath angels into our home. Perhaps you didn't get the chance to light with us. Now's that time to, if you're still scrambling, gather those candles, strike that match as we join together in words of Shalom Aleichem, page 142, or pages 2 and 3.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Tzedchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise if we have not already been doing so, as we continue this idea of welcoming ourselves into this holy space, as we bring ourselves into the space of the bride and the groom, as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi, page 138, or page 3 in our Daf Tefillah.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela. That repeats, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala. Feel free to clap. B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela. Verse 1. Tamor v'zachor, v'diborecha, Ishmianu el ha-miyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shemu tiferet, v'litehila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela.
Now we rise and face the door.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, Nam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela. B'nei Shabbat, Mikavela.
We keep this good energy going as we remain standing for the Baruch Hu, as we enter into our service. Deeper and deeper we dive into holiness. Baruch Hu, page 146, or page 4 in our Daf Tefillah.
Baruch Adonai, Halevorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Yadalai, lai, lai, 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 lai.
Centering ourselves, feeling our feet on the ground, our head held high. We close our eyes, concentrating on the oneness of Israel, the oneness of God. Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuta, Le'olam Va'ed. Okay, everybody. So, here is where our service takes a little bit of a departure from our normal Friday night. as we are about to do something a little crazy. We are going to have a whole Torah service right now. Why are we doing so? Because it's Simchat Torah. And so we are going to bring Torah right into your home. Yes, you are going to be able to see on your screen the words of the Torah. It may not be exactly like it is here when you are actually holding up the Torah, but we hope that you will feel the power of the words of the Torah as we bring you this special journey through the Torah through music. So that is what you can expect tonight. You will hear each one of us chant or narrate a small part from one of the books of the Torah, starting with Exodus, and we will move through our journey into freedom all the way through Deuteronomy, and then right back to the beginning again in Bereshit, starting on page 5. So, if you will, please rise as we begin our Torah service. Rabbis, did I get everything?
I think you did.
Okay, great, good.
Okay.
And we open the ark and take out our Torah scrolls. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvaranai miYerushalayim. 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 Baruch shenatan Torah ve'amo, Torah ve'amo Yisrael. Baruch shenatan Torah ve'amo Yisrael. Kedushato ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvaranai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvaranai miYerushalayim. One more time. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvaranai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvaranai miYerushalayim. Ata horeita ladat, ki Adonai hu Elohim, ein od milevado, le'oseh niflaot levado, ki le'olam chasdo. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed me'emet, Noter Chesed la'alafim, Nose avon v'fesha, v'chata'a v'nakeh. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Unerom ela Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki hu b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki hu b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamelacha, v'hamitnaseh, lechol lerosh. Okay, so before we can chant Torah, we have to say the blessing before the Torah. So, Rabbi Max and Rabbi Rachel, would you like to be our blessors? And Rabbi Spike and I will be your congregation.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
This is on page, for those of you at home, page 7.
Touch, kiss, and we bless. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
All right, here it comes right to you. We're going to get it adjusted so you all can see on the screen. There we go. So, there we are. All righty. This comes from the book of Exodus. Amen. Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot la'Adonai vayomeru lemor ashir al Adonai ki ga'oka sus v'rochvo rama vayam o ziv zimratia vayehili lishua ze'eli v'aravehu Elohei avi va'arom emenehu Adonai ish melchama Adonai shemo. Here comes some very familiar words. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedor b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. As we journeyed through the wilderness, escaping Pharaoh's men, we made it to the sea, and the sea, we watched it as an incredible miracle happened, and it parted, and we crossed the sea. And so we made it to the other side. We were so filled with joy, so filled with gratitude, so filled with exhaustion and emotion that the only thing that we could do with Moses was to sing a new song to God. And if you look at the words of the Torah scroll, you can actually see two things. You can see the pattern of the bricks as that we laid as slaves, and you can also see the movement of the waves of the ocean as we journeyed through the sea to the other side. We joined together in these words as I walk over and slowly get my guitar of faith that we would always make it through, that whenever the nights are dark, we know that God is always with us. Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracle you can achieve? When you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve? When you believe, somehow you will. You will when you believe. Ashir Adonai ki ga'al. Ashir Adonai ki ga'al. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha ledor b'kodesh. Nachita v'chastecha am zugalta. Nachita v'chastecha am zugalta.
cantor just chanted from the book of Exodus, we move to Leviticus, and when that prince of Egypt, Moses, led a slave people out of Egypt across the Sea of Reeds, and they sang Mika Mocha on the other side, that wasn't the end of the journey. That was the beginning. What to do? Create another people just like everybody else, or perhaps do something bold, nay, revolutionary. Create a society, a civilization, aspire to something more than the world had ever seen. A people not ruled by might equals right, or avarice, greed. A people motivated by the idea of B'Tselem Elohim, that everybody was created in the image of God. A people motivated by the idea that might does not equal right, and perhaps holiness is not taking advantage of those who you have power over. This is the covenant that we began to enter into with God, a set of not just rules, visions, not just journeys, destination points in the horizon. Could we be a Goy Kadosh, a holy nation? Could we be an Or Le Hagoyim, a light unto the nations? Could we be a holy people, an Am Kedusha, a people where everybody had a direct connection, a direct avenue to the divine, where everybody had the power to take us from Egypt to a promised land, a state of mind, a way of being, and in doing so, lead the world. Starting with the world was a big prospect. We had to start with ourselves, our people, our tribes, our families, ourselves. And only when looking across at the other could we decide we are going to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, and in doing so, set the tone for an entirely different way of approaching the world.
ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Try that with us. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. One more time. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. זה כלל גדול בתורה, בתורה. זה כלל גדול בתורה. Love your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself. This is the teaching of our Torah. This is the teaching of our Torah. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. ואהבת, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. This is the teaching of our Torah. This is the teaching of our Torah. Love your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself.
From Exodus to Leviticus to Numbers, the journey across, connecting to one another, and now in the book of Numbers, the realization that we can be connected to the divine in a way that is nothing short of profound. Traditionally on Shabbat evening, parents and grandparents will bless their children and grandchildren with the priestly benediction, laying hands gently on shoulders and heads, saying the words that are timeless, words that have defined our blessings for one another in these liminal states of being, these liminal times, these liminal eras, the transitions. Blessing children, grandchildren, and in doing so realize that we can bless one another. And the words that the priests would bless our people in those desert journeys, on those elevated times where we looked at each other honestly and openly, wishing the very best of the divine presence to one another. Friends, if you have others in your vicinity, I would ask that you put, with permission, a hand on their shoulder or head or hand as Cantor and I lead you and our congregation in the priestly benediction, like our clergy have been doing since time began as we know it. Hands on each other. Here we go.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Can you hear out some?
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Can you hear out some?
May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
Can you hear out some?
May God's face turn towards you and grant you each and all the greatest gift of all, the gift of wholeness, the gift of belonging, the gift of hope, and the gift of peace. And to that we can all say,
Amen. All right, friends, we have made our journey from Exodus to Leviticus to Numbers, and now we are prepared to end the book of Deuteronomy. This is Simchat Torah, where we move from the book of Deuteronomy, and then in a moment we will roll the Torah closed that we have open right in front of me and open the Torah that has the other side ready to go with the book of Genesis. Friends, this, at the very end, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, does not enter the promised land. He dies looking out at that very goal, that destiny that he hoped for. And instead, he sends Joshua to lead the people into the promised land. When people wish you happy birthday and they say, add 120, add 120, that's because right here in these verses, it tells us that at the age of 120, Moses died. And friends, we conclude with these words that say that never again did a prophet like Moses rise. So when we try to be like Moses, it is just that. We want to be like him, but the sages say that we will never quite reach the power of Moses. It doesn't mean we should stop trying, and it doesn't mean we can't look up to his leadership. But friends, we are going to chant these words. We will leave behind the promised land in the hands of Joshua as he leads the rest of the people forward. And at the very end, join with me in our big chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek as we get to formally close the book of Deuteronomy tonight. I'll be starting from verse 10 for those following along. V'lo kam navi od b'Yisrael k'Moshe, asher yada'o Adonai panim el panim, l'chol ha'otot v'hamoftim, asher shelacho Adonai la'asot be'eretz Mitzrayim leFaro, ולכל עבדיו ולכל ארצו. ולכל היד החזקה ולכל המורה הגדול אשר עשה משה לעיני כל Yisrael. There was never a leader again quite like the awesome power of Moses. And we say, Chazak, Chazak, Venit, Chazek. Be strong, be strong, be strengthened.
We have come from near and far to raise our voice in song, and the more we join in the refrain, the more we feel strong. Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek. There is a power in this place and time. It shapes the rest of our lives. For when we return each year, we find a truth we can't deny. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek. Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek. As we sing, we link ourselves to those who came before, and we're one with all those yet to come. Our strength it will endure. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Be strong and let us celebrate our lives. Be strong and let us strengthen one another. Chazak, 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 Benit Chazek.
All right, everyone, we have traveled throughout the entire Torah. We've gone from Deuteronomy, and you missed it while Cantor was singing. We were furiously rolling the Torah scrolls all the way back to Deuteronomy, or to Genesis. Here we are. We made it to Genesis, and we're actually going to be chanting. I'll be chanting not from the very beginning, but actually from the beginning of the Jewish story. The first 11 chapters, to put on my nerdy rabbi talit for a moment, the first 11 chapters are all about humanity. The 12th chapter, Lech Lecha, is the beginning of the Jewish story, where Avram and God have their talk, where God tells Avram that he is going to go on a great journey, that he is going to lead himself and all of his ancestors to a promised land, to a land where they will be blessed and others will bless themselves by those people, by Avram's descendants, where he will become Avraham and he will be the father to our nation, to many nations. As we chant along, you will hear the words, Lech Lecha, go for yourself, because Avram is making a scary, a dangerous journey as he goes out alone, leaving behind his family, his homeland, for a new and promised land. Join with me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vayomer Adonai el Avram, Lech Lecha, me'artzecha u'mimoladetecha, u'mibeit avicha, el haaretz asher areka, ve'escha legoy gadol, va'avarchecha, va'agadela shemecha, v'yeh beracha, va'avarecha, mibarechecha, u'mikalecha, aor, v'nivrechu v'cha, kol mishpachot ha'adama. And all of the nations of the world will be blessed by Avraham and his descendants.
Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilah. Lechilah. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechilah. To the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim. L'simchat chayim. L'simchat chayim. Lechilah. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. All of you are blessings. Lechilah.
Friends, we turn back in our service to page 7 as we have now completed our Torah reading so that we can recite together the blessing for after the reading of the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And friends, with our sacred Torah in our midst, we have this chance to share some joys and share the oys as well. And so first we'll start, of course, with our joys. And friends, if you are watching and are preparing for a bar or bat mitzvah, now especially for you is the time to tell us that you are here and tell us about the joys, the awesome things that are going on in your week. And everybody else who is joining us, please share in the newsfeed, in the Facebook comments, all of the wonderful things that happened to you this week. Rebbe Max.
Whew. Wonderful thing that happened to me this week. Oh, it's a small thing, but it's the little things that make you happy. Is we got a new dishwasher in our house.
We did.
And it's those little things that make your life a little bit easier. And so I'm very thankful for having a little bit easier of a housework life.
That's funny. So for me, I celebrated a birthday this week. So thank you everybody for all the birthday wishes. And I had this experience in the kitchen one day where, you could never find the chip clip, like the thing that you clip on the chip bag to keep it fresh. And a couple months ago, I looked at Max and I said, for my birthday, all I want are just a ton of chip clips. That's what I want for my birthday. I said this back in August. And sure enough, on my birthday, I wake up and what do I get? Probably 60, I was going to say 60 chip clips. So that's the awesome thing going on in my life this week. Rabbi Spike Cantor Adesnik, please, what's good in your lives?
Lauren, you go first.
Oh, so many things are good. You know what? I'm just super excited to be celebrating Simchat Torah and to be looking ahead to this next month where for us clergy, I don't think we really think it's Mar Cheshvan because we get a little bit of a break and we get to get ready for some Hanukkah not too far off. I'm really grateful for that Jewish cycle of life holidays.
And in the Anderson home, there has been a whole lot of ping pong being played lately. And I can tell you that the games are getting better and better and better. It's a great time to spend, great way to spend time as a family. And I am thankful for that time and all the times, the blessings that this time brings. With all the challenges, there are linings and silver linings as well. So I guess that's my Shehechianu moment, Rabbi Rachel.
Beautiful, beautiful. So for all of these things that bring us joy, we join together in a prayer that marks this special occasion, Shehechianu, page 11.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu hazman hazeh.
Just as we are a community who shares all of the wonderful experiences together, we come together as well as a community to support those who are in need of strength, who are in need of healing, who need a prayer and to know that there are those around them who are thinking of them always. In our community, we are praying for the healing of Vicki Atkinson, Brett Samsky, Stu Aaron, Andy Rush, Eva Lippman, Aaron Brody, Murray Goldstein, Joanne Lipschutz, Baruch Ben Marcy, Ari Yaakov Ben Leah Devora, Jack Elkin, Sarah Elkin, Andrea Chiavardini, Matthew Wilcox, Deborah Schwartz, Renee Waltzman, Shifra Batsara, Mindy Spector, Robert Weinstein, Jeffrey Siegelman, Leah Menucha Bat Yitzhak Benjamin Veliba, Jack Kolbersh, Adam Kolbersh, Max Gans, Annie Solomon, Miriam Ben Pesach, Conrad Ben Blanche. If you are praying for the healing of a loved one, please add their name to our feed so that others may share and support you in your need of healing, and that person may be yourself. And if there are others around you at this time, please rise together, hold each other close, and if you are sitting by yourself this Simchat Torah, know that our arms are extended for you, that you are being held by our community, and that we are with you, and that we see you, and that we are there for you. Mishaberach lecholim, our prayer of healing for the sick.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
As we move from sorrow to joy, and only the Jewish way possible, which is to go right from one to the next, we raise a cup of kiddush, a glass to l'chaim, to life, to Torah, to Chag, to this festival and holiday, as we join together, raising that glass of wine that you have in your hand at the kitchen table, on the couch, so that we can all join together in simcha, in our joy, with our festival kiddush, page 123 and page 12 in our
Page
daf
12.
tefillah.
They might want to look at page 12 because those are the actual words for
Let's
the
look
festival.
at page
Kiddush.
12.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'romemanu mikol lashon v'kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava Shabbatot limenucha u'moadim lasimcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom hashabbat hazeh ve'et yom Hashmini Chag Ha'atzeret Hazeh Zeman Simchatenu Mikra Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Bacharta Ve'otanu Kidasha Mikol Ha'amim V'Shabbat U'Moedei Kodeshecha Be'ahava U'Veratzon B'Simcha U'V'Sason Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael v'Hazmanim. Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim lebracha. Okay, time for the lifting and rolling of our Torah. Here we go.
וזאת התורה אשר משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ויעל משה ילן לי 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 ילן לי 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 we sing that one more time. Yalla la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Shalom, 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 shalom,
The tree of life.
shalom, shalom. Etzayim ila machazikim bavetochecha, me'ushar Etzayim ila machazikim bavetochecha, me'ushar. Here we go, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Clap your hands. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to those who have passed to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them who have passed to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Here we go with shalom, 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 shalom. One more time the verse, here we go. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Big shalom at the end. Shalom.
Friends, we remain standing as we begin to conclude our service. Our Torah is returned to the ark, and we are ready for Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 586, or page 14.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Friends, at this time in our service, we recall the names of those who have died in recent days and those who have died in seasons past. A reminder to please join us for our Yizkor service tomorrow morning as well. We offer condolences to the families of Jerry Goldberg and of Norman Goldstein, for those in a period of Shloshim, for Alan Rabin, Barbara Abrams, and Herman Saltzman. And for those commemorating a yahrzeit on this Shabbat, this Simchat Torah, we recall the names of Benny Bo Auerbach, Elizabeth Bernstein, Eunice Julia Bialis, Dora Bobby, Faye Davis, Clara Friedman, Rosalind Gaines, Hanya Geller, Ida Heller, Josephine Hyman, Mildred Jacobson, Robert Bob Canner, Esther Kaplinsky, Albert J. Kellert, Irving Litterman, Muriel Leather, Susan Roth Levine, Charlotte Muller, Solomon Moschel, Raymond Orden, Joseph Oremland, Samuel Piasek, Samuel Pomerantz, Ruth Purcell, Sam M. Rutenberg, Saul Shapiro, Paul Siphon, Miriam Silverman, Rudolph Simon, Marion Simon, Bessie Schreiberg Andelman, Gertrude Stepakoff, Ruth Stone, Mildred Turetsky, and Clinton Zaks. If you are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, we invite you to please rise in your place. If you are in the first year mourning the loss of a loved one, we invite you to please now rise in your place. If on this Shabbat you are commemorating the yahrzeit of a loved one, please rise in your place. And if it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, we invite you to please do so now as we join together in these words on page 15 or page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach churutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kedusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. We close as we began, that these words of Torah may be as sweet as honey in our mouths, and may they be sweet for us all year long.
Amen.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Torah, sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Torah, sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Shabbat shalom, everybody, and Hag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Shabbat
Chag Sameach.
Shalom.